What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Falcon and the Winter Soldier deleted scenes and even a deleted full storyline that would have been added a lot more context to key moments amongst the flag smashers mainly, which is what we'll start with, which is admittedly unconfirmed but is a big fan theory, is that first of all, I love the Flag Smashers, but the MCU villains having leftist ideals but going a bit too far is getting a bit much now. However, the central motivation was how people are being moved from places they wanted to live in during the blip. Obviously, a lot of countries would have been like, hey, we need people from X country to come here and fix our problems as everyone has disappeared. However, a subplot to that is that the GRC are doing nothing about the conditions in the camps. They have put people in and are withholding supplies and even vaccines, but we never saw much of the effect of this, save from one woman dying from tuberculosis, something that is widely vaccinated against. However, this means they must have had another thing the vaccines were for, well, vaccinating against, and they used dialogue replacement to re-record this, and other scrapped scenes were put on the scrap heap. Now, admittedly, this is all conjecture as it's not actually confirmed, but the writing was actually changed. We know this due to the pandemic. According to Murphy's Multiverse, there was supposed to be a pandemic being unleashed on the public called Mad Bomb, which was, of course, cut, presumably due to, that current pandemic. And the production company behind the show was even called Pandemic. Now, the pandemic ravaging the GRC camps would make a lot more sense. And speculation time would be something the GRC or that evil American senator would probably actually use to try and get refugees he deems inconvenient. Now, as well as this, there were two cameos that were cut. The first is that Yelena, played by Florence Pugh, who is, of course, in Black Widow. Now, interestingly, Julia Louis-Dreyfus debuted instead to recruit John Walker for her Thunderbolts, or Dark Avengers, which means that here, her debut was weirdly swapped around enough due to the delays, and this is a payoff of what she was setting up in Black Widow. Now, Daniel RPK has claimed that Yelena was supposed to have a cameo in this season, which was, of course, cut. This actually makes a lot of sense, as if she had been in Black Widow, well, she may have been recruited by Val in a post-credits scene of that movie, which would make sense, as this show would then heavily hint at where John Walker was going, which we didn't get. Now, as well as this, we have another cut cameo, according to Daniel RPK on his Patreon, and that is that Chris Evans was supposed to make a cameo, which was also cut. Now, if this is indeed true, it would make sense, as throughout the show, it was also said how Cap is on the moon, where we know he really is, he's just feeding the ducks like old people do. However, I'm happy this was cut. Just like the previous, for a different reason, there's Sam Wilson's moment, and it makes sense to focus on that. We had the passing of the torch in Endgame, and this was Sam's journey accepting the mantle of Captain America, which is of course a huge challenge, as John Walker found out, to his detriment. Except he said he's back, so I guess US war crimes are going unpunished, I guess. Now, interestingly as well, while I was writing this script, scouring for some more information, we had info on a cut plotline involving Sharon and Carly, which, in my opinion, was actually sorely needed. While I personally liked the Power Broker reveal, many didn't. However, Erin Kellyman in an interview has said this: Sharon recruited Carly at a younger age and trained her. She was going to create this little army of super soldiers. In episode 6, we learn Sharon wanted to control the world while I wanted to change it. That's why Carly left and created the group, the Flag Smashers. Different ideologies aside, this peek into their past fleshes out one of the more undercooked aspects of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, namely the Power Broker's ties to Carly and why the Flag Smashers were so desperate in their pursuit of a life free from restraints and government and borders. Now, those ties run even deeper, even extended to Carly's combat prowess. Naturally, the super soldier serum, though Carly's abilities were nurtured by the ex-SHIELD agent, she's the reason Carly knows everything fighting-wise. So that's pretty darn big there. That was a very controversial storyline, which, while I did like it, and I can see why they did it, for the wider people who didn't like it, I think they would have preferred it if we had more scenes showing that. If we showed them, and to be honest, the whole reveal of the power broker, it didn't need to be a season-long mystery. We could have just had that revealed probably in the episode that they went to Madripoor, and then we had a flashback showing them, or at least Carly and Sharon meet, in my opinion. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. What did you think of this? Did you want any of this in the show? And have you heard of anything that has been cut? So just a short video here, as I'm currently working on my Shadow and Bone storyline, and I'm currently watching a screener version of the new Mark Miller TV show coming to Netflix. So please do drop a like down below, subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.